Hello YouTube, this is Largo64. A little over a year ago, I posted a video called The 10 Commandments, that is. I'm doing it again because I was just reviewing it yesterday and I found that the audio portion had been somehow obscured. There was nothing but hissing on about the first third of it, and the rest of it was completely blank. The audio totally gone. So I took those down. Those were quick captures that I did at the time before I got this iMovie program. So I'm going to do it again right now and try to get it all on one video instead of two. This is about the 10 Commandments. Let us examine the commandments and see just how much guidance and inspiration they contain for the modern world. Beginning with Exodus 20, verse 1, the author of the document identifies himself. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Now he identified himself so the people would know who was the author of the law and for whom it was intended. He was very specific. He was the God of the fathers of the Hebrews. In Exodus 3:6, he's even more specific when he tells Moses that he is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Exodus 20, verse 3, commandment number 1, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, modern Christians insist this law should apply to everyone, including Muslims, Buddhists, Taoists, Hindus, or any of hundreds of other peoples with hundreds of other gods. Now, since God was specific about whom he was giving this law to, and at no time did he deny the existence of any other gods, it seems reasonable to assume that everyone but the Hebrews could worship any god they chose. Only the Hebrews were expected to obey this commandment, and even they were tacitly allowed to worship others as long as the I Am was first. Exodus 20, verse 4 through 6, commandment number 2. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Although it seems to say that the I Am didn't like carved, sculpted, or engraved images of anything at all, this is usually interpreted to mean icons of other gods the Hebrews might otherwise worship, probably because a visible god is easier to keep in mind than an unseen one. This appears to be only the first half of the commandment, which continues, Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So if you have graven images, you're not to worship them. Within this commandment, the I Am reveals himself to be jealous. A distinct weakness, psychologists say, is characteristic of insecure people. Then he warns that he punishes not only those who offend him, but their heirs as well, even though they are innocent of the offense. Exodus 20, verse 7, commandment number 3. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Though he is master of the universe, if his press notices are true, he is as offended as any Hollywood celebrity if his name is misused. Exodus 20, verse 8 through 11, commandment number 4. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. Now this clearly is intended to remind the Hebrews on a regular basis of just who is boss, of just who they owed everything to. Interestingly, even those who want to post this commandment in schools with the other 9 pretty much ignore it. Even the most orthodox of the Jews, who won't light a candle after sunset on Friday, hire a Shabbos goy to light candles in the synagogue on the Sabbath, even though the rules specifically prohibit manservants and maidservants from working on that day. Exodus 20, verse 12, commandment number 5. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Now this is the first of the commandments, the very first that has anything to do with what most societies would call morality. But even then, it supposes that one's parents are honorable. In the modern world, is a child supposed to honor a father who's abusive, or a mother who sells herself to support a crack habit? Are we to suppose that before this sentiment was codified, Hebrew children were not expected to honor their parents? Can anyone find a society anywhere in the world where honor of the honorable parents was or is not considered among the virtues taught to children? This is just preaching to the choir. Exodus 20, verse 13, commandment number 6, thou shalt not kill. That's a good one, but by no means final. The Lord may have desired that the Hebrews not kill each other, but he directly ordered them to kill many thousands of others, even their herds. Deuteronomy 20:16, but of the cities of these people which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth. Every society of human beings has prohibited murder and encouraged slaughter in war. It seems they all follow Jehovah's commandment, not to say his example, even if they never heard of him. Harrison Klebold of Columbine infamy knew better than to kill, but did so anyway. It's doubtful that having the 10 Commandments posted in their classrooms would have prevented this tragedy. Exodus 20, verse 14, commandment number 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, probably every society in history has forbidden adultery, although historically few ever heard of the Hebrew Bible. And didn't Jehovah himself commit adultery with the wife of Joseph? Isn't the taking of a woman who has the right to say no a rape by definition? In fact, adultery is enjoined in every society, commandment or no, because all people wish to protect their connubial rights. Exodus 20, verse 15, commandment number 8, thou shalt not steal. Another commandment which is adhered to by every society, with or without the knowledge of the 10, because protecting everyone's property protects one's own. Simple self-interest. Exodus 20, commandment 20, verse 16, commandment number 9, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. What is false witness? Is that testimony, as in court? Lying to procure advantage or favor? Is fibbing to protect the feelings of another equally forbidden? The general virtue of truthfulness is taught by every society, but exceptions have always been made. Even God deceived his first children when he told Adam and Eve in Genesis 2:17, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, the tree of knowledge, thou shalt surely die. That Adam lived for more than 900 years, according to the same book, seems to show that God himself was careless with the truth. Exodus 20, verse 17, commandment number 10, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. The first thought crime. The other commandments dealt with what the chosen people were to do. This one tells them that even their thoughts can be sins. If they desire something belonging to another, whether or not they do anything about it, they're guilty. Clearly now neighbor means other Hebrews, because just before God led them to the place where they received the commandments, he ordered them to spoil the Egyptians among whom they had been living. Then it was okay not only to desire the property of others, but to steal it. Contra Commandment 8. My conclusion is that the Ten Commandments are defective at best as a moral compass for all mankind. It would be easier and easier to read, to post, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," in classrooms, and consider those words in class with discussions on their meaning. That is a moral compass that can be understood by all, religionist and apostate alike.